Picture this, you pull your car into the garage, you walk inside, you grab a snack, you don't plug anything in, and your car charges itself. No cord, no adapter, no fumbling around in the dark trying to find a port while your dog is going nuts and your kid is screaming and you've got groceries in both hands. Just magic. Electromagnetic magic. That is apparently the promise of Tesla's wireless charging pad for the Cybercab, and it is genuinely one of the most fascinating pieces of technology in the EV world right now. And nobody's talking about it in the way it deserves to be talked about. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. Today, I'm going to go deep on Tesla's wireless charging system, how it actually works, why it needed a special hall pass from the federal government, who's behind it, and whether this thing charges your car at a speed that's actually useful, or if we're talking about leaving it overnight and praying territory. Let's get into it. First, some backstory, because this technology didn't just appear out of thin air. Or well, it did kind of, but I had known about it for almost a decade because I had actually been following Tesla's head of global charging infrastructure, Rebecca Tanucci, when she was Rebecca Huff in Virginia, when she co-founded a company called Evatran, which offered something called plugless power, wireless charging solutions for EVs. This wasn't some sci-fi concept. Evatran was out there installing real wireless charging systems on real EVs. We're talking Nissan Leafs, Chevy Volts. They had charging pads at Google's campus in California, Hertz locations in Florida. They were grinding it out in the wireless EV charging space before it was cool, which honestly is kind of cool. Nerdy, but cool. Tanucci joined Tesla in 2018. So the woman who helped pioneer wireless EV charging in this country went to work at Tesla. And now Tesla is building a wireless charging pad for an autonomous robotaxi. Coincidence? Yeah, maybe it might be a coincidence. And because I know Evatran just disappeared, I thought something like this might be coming eventually. Then Tesla went shopping in Germany. They acquired a German wireless charging startup called Wiferion, which specialized in inductive charging systems for industrial trucks and autonomous mobile robots. Wiferion's technology had already provided 22 kilowatt wireless charging solutions with up to 92% efficiency before Tesla acquired it. Tesla paid around $76 million for them, renamed them Tesla Engineering Germany, and then a few months later sold the company right back. But here's the twist. Wiferion's engineers, they stayed at Tesla. They were not part of the deal. So Tesla essentially bought a company, extracted the brain trust, and handed back the remaining bits of the company. Bold move, Tesla. A bold move. Let's talk about what makes this charging pad genuinely impressive and why it is absolutely nothing like the little wireless charging pad that you've got on your nightstand for your iPhone. Tesla is working on a static inductive charging setup consisting of a charging pad embedded in the ground and a corresponding receiver unit mounted on the vehicle's underside. Once the car is positioned above the pad, electricity is transmitted wirelessly, typically via magnetic coils used in inductive systems. So the car parks over the pad and the energy moves from the ground through the air into the car. No wires, no contact, just physics doing its thing. Now, here's where it gets genuinely nerdy and cool. The biggest challenge with wireless charging isn't the power, it's the alignment. If your receiver coil and your transmitter coil aren't lined up properly, you lose efficiency fast and you generate a lot of heat in the process. The phone gets around this with a tiny magnet. A car, on the other hand, is a 2-ton machine that you're parking with your eyes and your mirrors and sometimes just plain optimism. So how does Tesla solve the alignment problem? Well, they use a 2-step handshake that is honestly kind of elegant. The process begins with Bluetooth Low Energy. As the Cybercab approaches, it uses Bluetooth to discover the location of the ground pad and initiate the docking sequence. Think of it as the car going, "Hey, is there a charging pad around here?" And the pad says, "Yeah, I'm right over here, buddy. Come on over." And then comes the clever part. The Tesla positioning system is an impulse ultra-wideband radio system, UWB. Sounds kind of like a college acronym. Anyway, that enables peer-to-peer communications between a transceiver installed on the EV and a second receiver installed on the ground level pad to achieve optimal positioning for wireless charging. UWB Ultra Wideband is the same short-range precision tracking that's in your iPhone for AirDrop, spatial audio, and finding your AirTags. It is incredibly accurate at measuring distance and position at very short ranges. This 2-step approach mirrors the logic of human navigation, using GPS to find the building and then using your eyes to find the door handle. In this case, Bluetooth finds the pad and UWB guides the car to millimeter level precision right over it. Once the car is perfectly centered, charging begins. Now you might be asking yourself, wait a minute, I heard that the government had to sign off on this. Yes, it did. And this is where it gets a little bureaucratic, but also kind of fascinating. Under normal FCC rules, ultra-wideband technology is supposed to be handheld and can't be permanently installed on outdoor equipment. A charging pad in your driveway is very much permanent and very much outdoors. So Tesla had a problem. The FCC granted Tesla a waiver on February 18, 2026, waiving two rules that normally required UWB devices to be handheld and prohibit antennas mounted on outdoor fixed infrastructure. How did Tesla convince the government to make this incredible exception? Well, by proving this thing is basically harmless. The UWB signals occur only briefly when the vehicle approaches the ground pad, mostly at ground level between the vehicle and the pad, and are significantly attenuated, meaning blocked and weakened by the metal body of the vehicle positioned over the pad. So the signal is very low power, only on for a few seconds during parking, and then the car sits on top of it and basically blocks it from the rest of the world. FCC looked at it and said, yeah, that's fine. Which, if you've ever tried to get anything approved by a federal agency, you know this is basically a miracle. By securing this waiver, Tesla has established a regulatory precedent, validating the use of high bandwidth, short-range radio technology in automobile infrastructure, potentially opening the door for similar innovations across the EV sector. In other words, Tesla didn't just solve their own problem, they potentially cracked the door wide open for the entire industry. So at this point, you're definitely wondering, how fast does this thing charge? Okay, here we go. Because this is the make or break question, right? Because wireless is great, but if it takes 3 days to charge your car, you might as well get a horse. Let me walk you through what we actually know. During Tesla's We Robot unveiling event, an animation on screen showed the Cybercab starting to charge at 19 kilowatts with 35% battery remaining. And that number climbed to 21 kilowatts within seconds. Then Tesla released a follow-up demo video. That video showed a vehicle hitting 25 kilowatts of wireless charging power. Now, let's put that into context because raw numbers don't mean much without a frame of reference. A standard level 2 home charger in the United States can charge at a range of 3 to 19.2 kilowatts. A Tesla wall connector delivers around 11.5 kilowatts. So, Tesla's wireless charging pad at 25 kilowatts is faster than a plugged-in Tesla wall connector, wirelessly, no cord, with a gap between the pad and the car. Let that sink in for a second. A wireless option is faster than the wired home option most people are using right now. Now, that said, a Tesla V3 supercharger is capable of delivering peak charge rates of up to 250 kilowatts. So we're not replacing superchargers with this, not even close. This is a home charging and robotaxi depot solution, not a road trip solution. The animation shown at the event estimated the remaining charging time to 80% at around 56 minutes. A full charge from a low state of battery would probably be somewhere in the 2-hour neighborhood, which for a vehicle that's doing short local rides and resting in between is perfectly sufficient. And here's the thing that kills the wireless charging is inefficient argument before it even gets started. When MKBHD Marquise Brownlee called out wireless EV charging for what he estimated would be around 75% efficiency and a massive heat waste, Tesla responded publicly. Their answer? Efficiency is well above 90%. Brownlee's response? Eyes emoji. I stand corrected. Can't wait for it to ship. For comparison, Oak Ridge National Laboratory has demonstrated wireless charging reaching over 95% efficiency at much higher power levels. Hevo has also claimed over 90% efficiency, approaching 95% in some lab conditions. So, the wireless is wasteful criticism, valid for your phone charger, not as valid for what Tesla is building here. Now, you're probably asking, do you need a special power setup at home for this? Here's the practical question for regular people who just want to know if they can have this in the garage. The short answer is, if you already have a level 2 system at home, a 240 volt circuit like you'd use for a dryer or an electric range, you're likely in the right ballpark. Level 2 home charging tops out around 19.2 kilowatts in most residential setups, and the Tesla wall connector runs at 11.5 kilowatts. So 25 kilowatts. Tesla's wireless pad is pushing up against or slightly exceeding what a standard residential electrical panel is set up to handle comfortably. You might need your electrician to have a conversation with your breaker box. You might need a panel upgrade. It depends on your home setup. But for the Cybercab itself, which is an autonomous robotaxi, not a personal vehicle in its primary deployment, this isn't really about home charging at all. It's about pulling into a depot, reversing over a pad, and going right back out without a human ever touching a cable. Wireless charging, combined with autonomous navigation, could allow robotaxis to reposition and recharge without manual plug-in operations, a capability that's probably essential for around-the-clock fleet deployment. An autonomous car that has to wait for a human to plug it in isn't really autonomous at all, is it? It's like building a self-driving car and then making it raise its hand and wait for a crossing guard. So, how does this compare to Qi wireless charging? Well, the Qi standard, what your phone uses, typically operates at 5 to 15 watts. Some fast Qi chargers push up to 50 watts in ideal conditions. Tesla is doing 25,000 watts. That's a difference of 3 orders of magnitude. The physics are similar. Electromagnetic induction, a transmitter coil, a receiver coil, energy transferred across an air gap. But the engineering to scale that from charging a tiny lithium battery in your phone to charging a 35 plus kilowatt hour battery pack in a car is a completely different beast. The air gap alone is a massive challenge. The Oak Ridge National Laboratory achieved 270 kilowatts of wireless power transfer to a Porsche Taycan across a 5-inch air gap using a polyphase electromagnetic coupling coil design. 5 inches of air between 2 coils, and they're moving 270 kilowatts through it. That is crazy. Tesla's system has a similar gap to contend with. The Cybercab sits above the pad, not on it. And they're solving it with precision alignment using UWB to maximize that coil efficiency. Your phone charger doesn't need a federal waiver and UWB radio positioning to work. Tesla's pad does. That tells you everything about the difference in scale and complexity. So, here's what I actually think about all of this. Tesla's endgame with a Cybercab isn't just a cool car. It is a fully autonomous, self-cleaning, self-charging, self-deploying fleet. A car that drives itself, keeps itself clean, and charges itself at scale with no humans required at any step. They might as well just kill us all. The concept calls for a fleet that can drive, clean, and charge itself without human intervention. That's the vision. And the wireless charging pad isn't a gimmick. It's a load-bearing infrastructure for that vision. You cannot have truly hands-free robotaxi network if someone is going to have to plug it in every night. And would you want this for your personal car at home? Honestly, I would. Pull in, walk away, wake up to a full charge. The only downside is you lose 5 seconds of plugging in that you already weren't doing because you forgot. And I'm kind of curious. If Tesla offered a wireless charging pad for your current EV or your future EV at home, would you install one? And what would you be willing to pay for it? Hey, the bottom line is this. Tesla's wireless charging pad for the Cybercab is not a novelty. It is a serious piece of engineering that pulls together UWB positioning, inductive power transfer, regulatory innovation, and acquired talent from years of prior work in this exact space. It charges faster than a plugged-in home charger, and it does it wirelessly. It does it with over 90% efficiency. That is not a charging pad. That is a statement and even a look at the future. Peter von Panda, out.